Hey, so that was a great day today. You presented your private members bill. Yeah.
Well, first of all, let me thank you. I thank you for seconding the private member bill. This is a very important day for me.
Come on. But I think we should get to the microphone here.
Yeah,
you know?
no problem.
But one thing I really liked as well is today was like, it's a beautiful day outside and we're in front of the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Anyways, my name is Robert Falconer. I'm the Member of Parliament for Winnipeg Centre, and here I'm with my good friend and Member of Parliament for Richmond Hill, Majid Jowhari. One of the things that we had the opportunity of doing, where I stood beside you, or sat beside you, in fact, actually in the House, you introduced your very first private members bill, and you did it on a special day. I was just wondering, if you could describe what your private members bill is.
Great. Well, first of all, let me thank you. I thank you for seconding my private member bill, and the private member bill has to do with making certain consideration during the pre-sentencing by the judge when there are cases for mental health that needs to be considered. So if we take a step back, as you know, I've been very active in the caucus talking about mental health, and also chairing the mental health caucus.
Yeah, you're always raising those issues.
Yeah, it's important because, and I would go back to say, as we all know, 1 out of 5 are directly impacted by mental health.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 people indirectly are impacted, and mental health issues are costing our economy over $50 billion. So having said that, this is a national issue, and this is, as I call it, the pan-Canada issue. Also, that I've always been passionate about how I've talked about mental health in the caucus because of my personal experience.
Yeah.
40 years ago, when I came to Canada as an international student, it was a very stressful period. So it caused me, the whole settlement and making sure that I fit, it caused me a lot of anxiety. So I have personal connection with that. And also there is personal connection to the writing. Initially, when I earned the honor and privilege of representing Richmond Hill, the first 2 cases that I dealt with, and I had a statement by the member in the House, had to do with loss of life in the hands of someone who was dealing with the mental health. And these loss of life was unfortunately a father losing his life in the hands of his son, and a mother and a son losing their lives, both at the same time. So this is an issue that's not only national, but it's very, it impacts my writing, and also
it impacts people across the country.
It impacts everyone across the country. I'm sure everyone has a story.
So what does this bill exactly do then? You've obviously you worked very hard in getting this together. You've been consulting with the Justice Department. You've been consulting with many of your colleagues, right across, everyone pretty well. But what is this bill, as you spent so much time preparing and getting ready for private members' bills or private members' business, going to do exactly? So it's pre-sentencing, but what's the impact? What does the judge have to give, a harsher sentence or a lesser sentence?
No. So let me first of all acknowledge everyone else who has been part of the caucus and have contributed greatly to it. And there's so many of them, and they will be acknowledged in the caucus when I actually present the report. But really, it's not about changing a sentencing. It's about making sure that, based on the court's discretion, there is going to be reports available as part of the pre-sentencing that demonstrates or clarifies whether an individual has had a past experience with mental health, and also clearly highlight what programs can be implemented during the, let's say, incarceration or during the rehabilitation process, so the person will benefit from those programs and be able to deal with not only be able to deal with the sentencing period, but also be able to deal with the mental health. So this is purely at the discretion of the judge, and also make sure that those considerations are put in the report for consideration prior to the sentencing.
Now, I've heard quite a bit actually about sentencing related to in the prison system. There are a lot of inmates in our federal and provincial penitentiaries who have mental health issues, but oftentimes it often goes untreated because there is no report that's done. So this is trying to address that need there to make sure people can obtain, at least we know the knowledge, and then we can try and find the services for them.
Absolutely. So again, going back, I like to highlight the great work that the Minister Philpott did by making sure, and the Minister Marneau did, by making sure that we allocate $5 billion over 10 years. So that goes a long way into being able to help. We also, as part of the caucus, visited two penitentiaries, and one was for youth, male, and the other one was for female. And
where were these?
They were both in Guelph area.
Oh,
and
wow.
As part of the caucus trips, and it was very clear that a large portion of the youth, both male and female, were dealing with mental health issues, and they were requesting supports in that area. And it was great that we're seeing there's some work being done, but there's always better is always possible, as you know. Our Prime Minister says.
He always says that.
And this is an opportunity to make sure that the funds get allocated, as well as making sure that the consideration is given in our criminal justice system.
So thank you very much for that. I was just for the people to know a little bit about private members' bills, because probably a lot of people who are watching this online have no clue how it works in Parliament. Sometimes a very confusing place, even for MPs like you and me. There's lots and lots of standing orders and rules and regulations that govern how we function. So you've introduced it now. It's gone through first reading. Now
we've just introduced it. So
we've done first reading. Yeah,
we've done first reading. Yes. So now we're going to have 1 hour of debate, which is basically I'll be presenting the case, and there's going to be other members of Parliament that will stand up and talk on the topic.
Yeah, and then there's a bit of a delay. There's a break, and then there's another hour debate.
Yes.
And then then it comes to a vote in the House, and if it passes that vote, what occurs then?
I believe, and this is what we are trying to clarify actually with the team over the next couple of weeks, because our focus was really getting the bill right and making sure that we do the consultation. I believe it's going to go to the committee, and the committee is going to review it.
So which committee? Oh, it's 100% sure. It goes to I guess the Justice Committee?
It may actually go to 3 committees. It may go to Justice Committee, Public Safety, as well as Health Committee.
Wow, this bill will be studied, and then they have, I think, 90 odd days to complete their study, and then they make a vote, and then they make a recommendation to the House, and then it comes back to the House for third and final reading and
then
a vote.
Goes to the Senate.
And then we send it to the Senate. You have to find a sponsor, I believe, in the Senate to help you out over there. I'm sure it won't have any trouble if we can get it through the House. Right now we're standing here in front of the Supreme Court. Why did you pick this location? Why is?
Well, it was actually your idea, Robert.
No,
don't try to give me a credit for that. It was your idea, and thank you once again for seconding the bill and for supporting this worthy cause. And also, I know that you are a very strong proponent for mental health youth and within the Indigenous community. You always stand up for them, and I thank you for that. And this is something that we are both passionate.
Well, we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you.
But again, the key
and
thing
talk about the work you're doing.
Yeah, I realize that, but the key thing is this is not a one person. Although I have the honor and privilege of tabling the private member bill, but nothing in Ottawa happens by an individual. So as I said, there's a lot of people in the caucus that they've helped. The department has been engaged, and they've given a lot of feedbacks, and I'm hoping that we'll have the support of not only our caucus, but the members across the aisle, and also the other house. So again, I'm the face of this, but there's a lot of people and a lot of great work that went, and I'd like to thank them all.
Beautiful. And so once again, for the people who are watching, I'm the Member of Parliament for Winnipeg Centre, and this is my compatriot and colleague and friend and comrade in legislative arms, the MP for Richmond Hill.
Thank you, and Well, this is a great day. Second anniversary, a first private member bill, something that relates not only to Canada, to my riding, and to me personally. So I consider this an amazing day for me.
It is the second anniversary of our election,
Yeah,
wasn't
it is. It is. Today is October 19th, and it is our second year of election. And it's such a fitting that I get the privilege of representing Richmond Hill on our second anniversary.
Well, let's do a quick postscript. What's we've been here for 2 years. What's the thing you've learned? The most surprising thing you've learned about your time here in Ottawa?
Well, everybody over a long period of time or some period of time, they will master the procedures. I think what I've learned is a lot of good things can happen in committees. A lot of good things can happen when we all work together. And I'm so proud to say that the team that helped bring this bill together really came together and worked together. So the only thing, one of the most important things to me is how well we are working together. And when we work together, we are making a difference.
Hey, very good.